Every year, all of the menfolk in the Hyde family, including the in-laws, like to get together for an early morning and an all-day fishing event at Fish Lake.
We were in Alaska, or Fish Lake. It might have been Fish Lake.
It was a cold June morning.
So there we were, walking around in the forest, when all of a sudden we see a boat. And we're like, let's get in that boat and go out there and get you some fish.
Before we took off, we were all in the boat. We were about ready to take off. And Scott Reinwan said, well, maybe we should have a prayer.
As always, we begin every fishing trip with a prayer.
So Terry called on Matthew to say the prayer.
And he gave a wonderful, beautiful prayer.
But then he very quickly wraps up the prayer and says...
It was something like, let us all catch great amounts of fish or something.
Or what was it? Hold on.
That we would catch the fish, the sizable fish that our heart desires.
I asked that we would be blessed to catch the fish of our heart's desires.
Anyway, after he says that, we all say amen, and there's kind of some chuckles, and everyone sort of
giggled a little bit.
Scott was the one who initiated the prayer, or suggested it. He was the first one who kind of snickered at that.
Well, we didn't have a lot of luck. We kind of started off slow, and we were just trolling around the lake, and all of a sudden, Matthew, from what I remember, said that he thought he had a snag on his line.
Matthew threw his line out. That's pretty much the last thing I remember.
It was just within, I think, a half hour or 45 minutes of when we had started fishing, Matthew gets this huge tug.
And oh boy, what a tug it was. I'm reminded of Dr. Seuss in that line. It was a fantastic tug.
Matthew, the legend, he began to pull. And he pulled and he pulled and he pulled until that fish came in. And we fought with the fish for 2 hours.
It took a half an hour to land that monster.
It took about 35 minutes to reel in.
So it takes them about half an hour to 5 hours to reel this thing in.
I think it was like 45 minutes.
It took him 15 years if it wasn't 2 minutes.
So he let us all hold on to the pole to feel how big it was.
Hold on, let him come back.
Bring him back around if you can.
Did you get a picture?
Oh, no, I got a picture of you guys. We'll get plenty of pictures later.
Nobody really suspected that it was, any kind of amazing fish, but it was a pretty good fighter.
We were all just imagining what was at the other end. When it finally got up to the boat and we could see it, I mean, it was a monster.
The thing was so monstrous.
Have you seen Jaws?
You could see this huge shadow kind of going back and forth in front of the boat, and everybody's looking out. And I remember Ben's reaction was this huge, like, the moment he got a glimpse of it, he almost couldn't even contain himself.
He's kind of deep. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, look how big that is. There he is. Can you? Oh my, that's a 20-pound. Holy freak. Holy. Whoa, that's huge.
I remember looking over at the side, catching the first glimpse of it, and being actually scared.
Scared to death.
Starting to get a little freaked out.
Everybody was freaking out.
We actually jumped back like a bunch of little girls.
We screamed like small school children.
And then when we got it to the boat, no one dared to pick it up.
Who's gonna reach down and grab it into the boat?
Thought we were done for.
Dad came to the rescue.
Dad finally stuck his hands down the jaws of death.
Dad rolls up his sleeves, looks at us with a look of disgust and utter embarrassment, leans over, grabs the fish by the gills, and just yanks him up on the boat. And there you have it.
When we pulled it in and we threw it on the deck, everybody was like high five, and it's like we all accomplished this huge feat together, even though Matthew was the one who pulled it in.
That's so cool.
Like the tape measures right there.
Lift it up.
Like the tape measure.
Hook is. It's
Like the tape measure.
It's barely caught on. Oh, it wrapped around.
We didn't really catch a whole lot of anything except for a huge 19-pound fish, which was the fish of my heart's desire.